The second morning of our LV Game of the Week at Headingley began quietly until, having added 5 runs to his overnight 23, Tim Bresnan gave James Tomlinson, who got through 26 overs on day one, his third success of the innings, Will Smith holding on in the gully. Just after securing a 4th batting bonus point, Yorkshire then lost Jack Leaning, who, after moving from 77 to 82, was another victim to Tomlinson, who deserved his wicket simply for the amount of good work he'd put in. Hampshire would have been pleased with their morning's work. Starting on 333 for 7, Yorkshire were all out for 370, as Fidel Edwards earned his first wicket for his county with a bouncer. Jack Brooks unable to deal with it to go for 9, Lewis McManus showing off his athleticism to complete the dismissal that finished off the innings. There was some drama right at the start of the visitors' reply. Liam Dawson could have gone twice before he'd scored. Brooks, the unlucky bowler on both occasions. First he was put down by Leaning, before another edge saw the ball fly at Adam Lyth, who was unable to grasp hold, much to the bowler's understandable frustration. With no Jimmy Adams, Sean Terry took his place at the top of the order, and he did fall for a duck in the 5th over, pinned back by Bresnan with just 8 runs on the board. Dawson had another close call before lunch, getting halfway down the pitch before being sent back by Michael Carberry. Dawson had all but given up, but thankfully for him, Brooks's throw missed the stumps and Andrew Gale couldn't gather. So Hampshire were able to get to lunch with 21 runs on the board for the loss of Terry's wicket, and Dawson was able to settle down on the restart, as Hampshire in the end made a solid start to their reply. The promoted team must have sweated a bit when they saw the fixtures, as they were drawn against Sussex, Warwickshire, Nottinghamshire and the champions in their first 4 games, but they have dealt with these tough matches pretty well so far. They were doing that here all right, with Carberry and his partners steadily building a partnership and a platform for the rest to build on. Thus far this summer, Yorkshire are finding their opposition in a much less generous mood than last time. Only Worcestershire have capitulated against them so far this summer, and Hampshire were in no mood to do that. Both batsmen were into the 40s when Dawson was dismissed in the 33rd over, Leaning making up for his earlier error to give Will Rhodes a wicket in his 4th over, one which left Hampshire on 83 for 2, some extra bounce foxing the batsman. Of all those mentioned to replace Jonathan Trott at the top of England's batting order in the forthcoming Test series, Carberry has not been amongst them. He has this season dropped to number 3 for his county, and it's a move working out well for him as he reached his 3rd 50 of the championship summer in his 6th innings with his 11th boundary here off his 105th delivery. He was going along nicely before he lost 2 more partners in 2 balls to Brooks. James Vince's indifferent early season form continued as he was trapped in front shouldering arms for 6. Before Smith, also trying to leave his first ball alone, guided to Lyth, a wicket which left Hampshire not quite on the ropes, but a little behind their hosts on 109 for 4. Yorkshire cock a hoop now, with Brooks, as always, really pumped up. Carberry now hit a wall as he desperately tried to keep his own wicket intact, a battle he was probably really enjoying, while new man Sean Irvine did find the boundary a couple of times to take his side to the tea break with 127 runs on the board, the deficit standing at 243. Initially, the evening session belonged to the fighting visitors, with Carberry and Irvine batting sensibly, their partnership developing nicely with these boundaries. The Yorkshire attack huffed and puffed but caused little damage to the Hampshire house, as this pair took the total to 195, their stand for the 6th wicket eventually realising 86 runs made in 27 overs, with both batsmen moving close to personal milestones. But then both were out in successive overs, 3 short of his 100 and going for the boundary which would have taken him there. Carberry gave Adil Rashid his first wicket of the season and the first of his 3 on this day. Carberry was bitterly disappointed to get out so close to his ton. Then Irvine fell for 48, Brooks striking with just the 2nd ball of his new spell, which left Hampshire in a spot of bother on 199 for 6, still 171 runs adrift of their hosts. Irvine could not have picked out Stephen Patterson any better. Rashid then struck again, Gareth Berg the man to go for 10 at 215 for 7, 6 more runs still needed to avoid the follow-on. That was done as Andre Adams, as he so often does, smashed his fourth ball into the distance for 6, only to fall 2 balls later as the day ended well for Rashid and his team, the last 4 wickets falling for 28 runs in a dozen overs. The second new ball will be available in 15 deliveries on day 3, and so Yorkshire will be hopeful of finishing the Hampshire innings off quickly before batting themselves into a position of real strength. With Hampshire on 223 for 8, the lead for the home team currently stands at 147.